Hi, thanks for joining us today. My name is Verdi Abel. I'm with Licking County Recycling. Today we're going to talk about using some of your discarded items to create seed starting containers or pots for your spring planting activities. Spring has sprung, the weather is broken, it's nice outside, and those of us who spend time outdoors are focusing on gardening. And gardening involves plants, so we're going to talk just a little bit about starting those plants and make some of these items into seed starting containers. You know, when you talk about recycling and Licking County Recycling, you often think about putting things in our recycling bins. Paper and cardboard and plastics, steel cans, glass. Putting those things in the bin, they're used for other items. They're ground up or processed and made into new materials. In this case, we're actually using the item as it is and reusing it into a different purpose. So let's just take a look at some of these things and certainly go through them and show you how you can convert some of your unwanted things into something interesting. We'll start by just talking about some of the most obvious containers. Maybe it's yogurt cups made of plastic, very durable, pretty good size, maybe steel cans. The trouble with these items, the positive part of them, might be that they are solid. The negative part is they're so solid they don't decompose very easily. So cans and yogurt cups, you'll need to remove the plant out of there before you put it into the ground. Since it is solid, you also need to punch some holes in the bottom, and it's not real easy into a steel can. Maybe a little easier in a yogurt cup, but that's something to consider because you want drainage for your plants. So steel cans, yogurt cups, larger versions might be your sour cream containers, bigger yogurt tubs, those types of things. If you want something smaller, maybe the K-cups from your coffee maker. Tiny little container. One thing about small containers to remember is that your soil, as loose and airy as it is, it's going to need to be watered quite often. You can't water them one day and skip a day or two, come back, because it's going to dry out. So keep that in mind. The smaller your container, the more you'll have to water that plant. Getting into something a little more creative for starting your seeds, let's look at paper tubes. Now, I think a lot of people have these at home, whether it's a large version from paper towels or something a little bit smaller, but these can be turned into seed starting containers as well. It's pretty simple. Flatten out, well, first start and cut it to the length that you want. Flatten out your container on 2 dimensions, so it's kind of square, and then using scissors, cut just a ½ inch or so into each one of those corners. And when you've got it its right size, you can fold those in. And I need to cut a little bit more here. Missed one, I think. Fold them in, and I like to use masking tape because it is a paper-based tape, and just tape the bottom. And if you do it right, perhaps a little better than I did, you'll come out with a nice little pot or container for starting seeds. And the nice thing about cardboard tube pots or containers, they are biodegradable, and if you use masking tape, it will degrade right along with it. When it comes time to put these into your garden, you can simply tear it a little bit if it still has any strength to it, open it up, or put it in the ground as it is, and over time it will decompose and the plant will thrive there in the soil. So we've looked at some solid containers, we've looked at cardboard containers using paper towel tubes, toilet tissue tubes. Another creative design you see often on the internet are small pots made from newspaper. And this is pretty simple, but you will need some sort of mold to work with. So in this case, I'm going to use a small yogurt drink mold. Simply roll your paper around whatever you're using for a mold. It can be a soda can, it can be a different size bottle. roll it up, maybe reach inside and tighten that loop up just a little bit. And again, just fold in the bottoms. Use a piece of masking tape. Tape that up, slip it off, and you've got a relatively sturdy paper container for starting seeds. And again, the nice thing about this is over time, it will decompose and you can put it directly into your garden. And once you get enough of those together, whether it's the cardboard tubes or the newspaper tubes, once you line them up and you have a fairly compact area, they do support each other and they work very well. Again, be very aware there's not a lot of soil in there. The newspaper will actually wick moisture out of the soil, so you need to water these fairly frequently. Another interesting starting situation or seed starting container might be paper egg cartons. I've already started to cut this one up, but they are individually designed, so you have a dozen individual containers. At the end of the growing season, when you're getting ready to put it into the ground, these will probably be so soft and easy to tear apart. And again, being a paper product, you don't need to worry about decomposition because over a few weeks that will simply decompose. If the only type you're getting might be the foam egg cartons, remember these are not decomposable. They will not degrade in your garden. So you will need to remove all of the plants out of there. These also are solid, so you'll need some drainage holes. But just like on our paper egg carton, you can trim it up and use the lid as kind of the tray itself. So a couple of options there for using egg cartons. Remember, these are not recyclable. They have to go in the trash, but you can use them for something fun and different before you put them into the trash. One of the last things I'll cover is kind of a novelty, and you'll see this occasionally. If you want to display your fun little started seeds and have some herbs growing, eggshells make kind of a neat little pot. And given that egg cartons are designed to hold eggs, you can have a dozen small plants growing in an egg carton in eggshells. And it's kind of fun, kind of a novelty. Again, they'll dry out quite easily, so beware of that if you want to use eggshells. That gives you a quick summary of some of the things you can do with your discarded items. Have fun with planting some of your herbs, some of your vegetables. Consider using some of these items instead of discarding them in the trash. Certainly recycle when you can. If you're interested in recycling or composting with your gardening project this year, give us a call at Licking County Recycling. We have brochures on recycling, a composting guide that will help you with some of your gardening efforts, and we're here to help. Give us a call if you have any questions. Find us on the internet, find us on Facebook, and thanks for joining us today. Hope to see you out at the recycling bin after you're working in your garden. Thanks much.